Well, here we are again. Just like clockwork on Fridays, we now know that it is Fridays when Battlefield Labs does its playtest, because now I think it's been like 5 Fridays where we've seen different playtests, and holy crap, did the most recent one change the narrative of this game, because we went from like the builds looking like alphas and pre-alphas and testing a bunch of weird stuff to the most recent ones looking like whatever they tested this Friday looked incredible. And we got a video here by Jack Frags. He seems to be like the kind of person that keeps covering it. If you want to see some of the gameplay, I'm not going to show it just in case it gets copyrighted or anything. It hasn't been removed as of yet on Twitter. It is by someone by the name of Good Boy on Twitter, or at ALISAAD 40002. And while you're there, you should probably just following Slasher as well. But anyway, let's see what Jack Frags has to say about this.
There was a new BF Labs playtest on Friday.
Every Friday.
Oh boy, there was a lot of gameplay videos uploaded. Much of it was completely uncensored as well. So apparently there's thousands of people now who are testing in BF Labs, and a lot of them just...
Again, I only saw it from one person. I'm assuming Jack Frags is going to have more information, hence why we're watching this video.
Just don't care. They just upload the footage. There was a 22-minute video that I saw over the last couple of days. High quality. It was nice.
I didn't see that.
440p, 60 FPS. I think it was on PS5 because the guy goes into the controller settings and you can see it's PS5. No attempt to hide their name or anything like that. And it was on a new map, which was cool. So
yeah, everything I've seen has been on new maps
that we saw in this map, in these videos, I wanted to talk about today. Some of it's pretty cool, some of it a little bit concerning. Let's get into the details. So in the videos, the new map that we saw was called Capstone, and based on the loading screens, this map is set in Tajikistan.
Yeah, it's a really cool section. Basically, you are surrounded by mountains and the town goes up the middle, and it's like a smaller town, I guess, in Tajikistan, or however you say it. But it's like one of these areas. I saw like a documentary about this where the mountains are so big that the day is actually shorter in this town because the sun gets blocked out by the mountains. It's a pretty cool idea.
In the Aini district, it's a very picturesque mountainous environment. It looks incredible. I have to say, the visuals on this map are 10 out of 10.
Yep.
It reminded me a lot
Best
of BF1,
looking map we've seen so far.
Perhaps they're using some more photogrammetry in this game than they did in BF5 and 2042. Very cinematic, and this is a proper conquest map. There were 6 flags in total. It didn't look like a massive conquest map, but it had jets and helicopters. There was a lot of buildings there. Many of them could be destroyed, were blowing up, were being destroyed. A bit of elevation here and there, somewhere you're attacking down a hill, somewhere you're attacking uphill. A flat bit on the right side of the map, it looked like. Lots of built up areas too around the flags with HESCO walls, sandbags. They've changed the capture zones too. So previously we reported that in some of the initial footage, the capture zones had a red, blue or white glow around them to signify where the outline was for the capture point. I think
that's his Delta Force that he's showing us.
Delta Force, yeah. But they've changed that now, and instead it's paint on the ground. Looks cool. So rather than it being a made up glow, I suppose,
I didn't see that, but that's
the ground, it now just looks like paint that's been spray painted.
So again, this is like the doubling down on the whole realism thing, right? What people have been praising this game for, because it's so different than what we're seeing with Call of Duty or really anything else, is like the down to earth, as close to a milsim as an arcade shooter can get, is what this game's aiming for. It's not a milsim. Like people are going to get confused and say it's a milsim. It's not a milsim, but it's pretty much as close as you're going to get without going into that like milsim direction.
It looks really nice, and I think it's a good way for people to understand where the capture points are. So Tajikistan is a landlocked country located in Central Asia, and it's bordered by Afghanistan to the south, so you can kind of see why they might be fighting in this region if
realistic
a hypothetical
again?
World War III kicked off. Based on the video footage, this looked like Battlefield.
Yep.
In one of the longer gameplay clips that was leaked, there was a really cool section
I've
where
seen this.
A helicopter is shot out of the sky, and instead of just exploding like it might do in...
This is what he's going to say. First of all, I need to center my camera because it's bugging the hell out of me. He shoots it out of the air, and it pulls a war zone where you shoot it out of the air and it kind of dies and then crashes to the ground and explodes.
In 2042, BF3, BF4, it actually sets on fire,
Yeah.
starts spinning, and then drops to the ground, and then it becomes a helicopter wreck on the ground. It sounded incredible. It looked amazing.
Looked
Vehicle
amazing.
wrecks, especially from air vehicles like helicopters and planes, jets. It was supposed to be in BF5. If you remember, in the initial trailer, you can see the plane crash lands on the ground and the pilot can escape. Never happened. Didn't happen in 2042 either, but it appears they might have that in this game. I just imagine being on the ground, staring up and seeing a helicopter
It looks super, super cinematic. That would be the word I use to describe it.
falling out of the sky. Pretty epic. The sounds in general too in these videos are amazing. The audio team at DICE are absolutely cooking with this game based on the leaked footage and the videos. The sound of distant explosions, smoke, gunfire, bullets cracking, bullets whizzing by, fire, smoke hissing, jets and helicopters roaring overhead. It's looking like this will be a very immersive experience.
So basically, from what I have seen, they have nailed the aura of the game. They have nailed what the game looks like, sounds like. The thing that we don't know is what it plays like. And until we all have our hands on an alpha or beta or whatever it may be, we're not going to know that. And that's, of course, the most important thing. Like I've talked about before, when Verdansk 1 was out, the aura of that map, off the charts. You go inside the hospital building, it looks like a shut down hospital. Everything's completely dark, but you can't see anyone in there. So it looks amazing, plays horrible. Hopefully this isn't like that, but that's the current worry.
Next, in one of the leaked videos, there's a point where the player uses a tow launcher or a stationary rocket launcher, and it's a wire-guided missile. Now, we've had these in previous BF games. You get on the missile, you shoot it, and you can guide it with your mouse or your controller and aim it at a tank, a vehicle, whatever. But in the new game, in the footage here, you can actually see the wire. A wire-guided missile is a missile that's guided by signals that are sent to it via these tiny thin wires that are connected to the missile and its guidance mechanism. And as the missile flies, the wires are reeled out behind it. According to Wikipedia, it's commonly used in anti-tank missiles, and the longest range wire-guided missile in current use are limited to about 8 kilometers, which is 5 miles.
Can we just take like 1 second here? And yes, I'm sunburnt, I'm aware. To realize how insane that is. Like this, first of all, number one, wire guided missile. What's the benefit of that over, I don't know, Wi-Fi, satellite, whatever the hell technology they use? It can't go as far, but he said 8 kilometers, right? How do you have 8 kilometers of wire stored anywhere? And who's in charge of untangling it if it gets tangled? That's what I actually want to know. Because that sounds like the worst. Like I used to think drywalling was the worst job. Like my brother-in-law is a drywaller. And I think he has the worst job. But whoever has to untangle that wire, that's the actual worst job. We figured it out.
But when the player shoots in the new Battlefield game, you can see the wire coming out and following the missile. Great attention to detail. Jets, as I mentioned, there is a 2-minute clip of jet gameplay. Again, the audio,
I haven't seen
incredible. The visuals, amazing. There's these awesome air and mist effects on the wings, and they have a little dogfight with another jet. It looks a bit janky in the video in terms of the controls.
That's what I'm worried about.
Not that responsive. And there is a comment from someone on a Discord who talked about the jet controls, which we'll get into a little bit later.
He hasn't talked about gameplay yet.
You can see there's a death report that comes up now, so it shows you where you were hit, how much damage was done, that kind of thing. There were some patch notes on the Discord that were leaked that said they've nerfed the combat dive, they've nerfed the duration and the height of it, and the movement in these videos definitely seems slower than the previous videos.
I would agree with that.
Perhaps they are toning it back a bit. I don't know whether that's an internal decision or they're doing this based on feedback. We also saw gun customization for the first time too, and a test range. Love that they've got a test range back again. The gun customization in the new Battlefield game looks like it's a bit different, and it's based on a point system, and each attachment that you equip has weight. So let's say in total you have 100 points. You then pick various attachments that might cost a certain amount, and you can't go over 100.
Interesting. This is a pick 10 system. Hold up. This is a pick 10. This is a pick 100 system, I guess, technically, but this is a pick 10 system. So you have a class and you have a certain amount of weight. Say in Call of Duty, you have 10 weight. and each thing you choose on your class takes up 1 weight, but some things might take up 2, like a wild. This is the pick 10 system in Battlefield. Like, of course I can't show it to you because, like, obviously that's huge. That's cool.
100. It looked kind of like Insurgency Sandstorm if you've played that game.
I haven't played that
COD
game.
have done this in the past with their pick system.
Yeah,
I don't
see?
remember that being exclusive to guns. Maybe it was at some point, but they had a pick 10 thing. I think that included perks, but I digress. So new customization system for the guns. And in terms of the different attachments, there's a ton there. I have covered this in a previous leak video, but you actually got in-depth stats on them, which is really cool to see. Previously, you would have to go to an external website to find that kind of data, like Simtic. Looks like it's in the game now. And there were different ammunition types here too. 5 or 6 different options, I think, from memory. Something else I thought was interesting that was data mined. The Propaganda and Firestorm maps were found in the game files. Propaganda is an amazing BF4 map, one of my personal favorites, and it's actually inspired by a BF 2142 map. Little bit of trivia for you there, but it plays really cool. So if it's being remade for this game, amazing. And also Firestorm. Now I'm not talking about the Battle Royale, I'm talking about the BF3 map Firestorm. That could be making a return as well. Also a cool map, and it was remade in BF4. Obviously very popular. Aside from that, I found this note here on Reddit. This is from a user called The Rube, and they said that the word in the leaks Discord is the map plays and feels a lot like Monte Grappa. Monte Grappa was one of the original maps in BF1, set on the side of a mountain. Medium in size, more linear than circular in layout. Quads, a tank, 2 LAVs, attack chopper and jet on each team, also mobile anti-air. Every building is destructible, usually the case in more rural maps. Movement feels slightly slowed and more grounded compared to the first test, maybe smoother animations. Jumping and shooting is nerfed. Gun customization looks and feels good. Sound design for helis and jets is deafening, really intense and realistic. Jet controls aren't great, feel like 20.
So yeah, this gun customization good, sound design good, movement feels slightly slowed. Every building is destructible, good. Quads doesn't say whether the controls on the other vehicles is good. More linear map. Okay, so all of these are the basis of the game, right? None of these actually mention gameplay, gunplay, how any of that feels. Again, that's what I'm worried about.
42. I think that's most of the headlines, the big hitters from the latest BF Labs playtest leaks. A lot of it has been taken down already on YouTube. You can still find it on YouTube if you look, but of course it's all over other social media sites and on the Reddit. I don't think they can take the native video files down, or maybe they just have stopped trying. It really is out of control at this point, but fingers crossed it leads to a better game overall. And I wanted to ask you guys, I'm going to set you a bit of homework, or if you know the answer already, do let me know. So if you're somebody who's watching this video and you've watched this far to the end, thank you by the way. I imagine that you're somebody who is a Battlefield fan, or you watch my videos regularly, and you might be the kind of person who wants to know everything about the next Battlefield game before it's been revealed or before it's been announced, and you just want all the information, whether that's to just see, am I going to enjoy this, is it going to be worthwhile, is it going to be a disaster, that kind of thing. So I'm guessing that's you.
That's exactly what I'm wondering.
Who are a bit more casual with Battlefield, maybe they played a little bit of 2042 or a bit of BF3, BF4
kind of how
back
I
in
am.
the day, and they haven't really played BF since. Are they actually in the know about these leaks and information that's out there? How mainstream is it? That's really what I'm looking for. Because Battlefield has never done anything like this before, really, on such a massive scale. And the leaks were always a foregone
It's not. I'll answer that question for you.
conclusion, especially when you invite that many people. So it was bound to happen, but I think the extent and the data mining and everything, almost everything.
Okay, so this is I'm gonna completely change the subject and go off the rails here. This is a great question for him to be asking, and it's something that I do quite frequently with Call of Duty. So I will know how important an update or new change or new thing in the gaming industry is based off of the people I surround myself by outside of YouTube. Because inside of YouTube, for example, when Marathon was revealed, everyone I talked to before it was revealed is like, this is going to be the next big thing. Nobody in the general public knew what Marathon was or gave a crap at all. So I should have had more of a sense that it was going to be bad. But then when Bethesda re-releases Oblivion, I had basically my brother come to me and be like, dude, what's this thing that came out today? Oblivion? I never I've never played that. Like, it's huge. I hear all of these things about it. That game was shadow dropped. That game had no marketing, and he's somehow hearing about it. So like, this is just how like the general zeitgeist work. And I will tell you right now, these leaks are insanely good for the hardcore community. They are insanely good for YouTubers, for people who are involved with like the Call of Duty or Battlefield community. These are not getting outside of that. They're not. And this is why Call of Duty does the campaigns with like celebrities and sports teams and things like that, because that's the thing that gets into the general public. This is not. Now, here's the thing though. The gameplay and everything that is coming out, at this point, like he said, it seems like they have thousands of players playing this game. If the game comes out and the servers are chalked and the gameplay's chalked, they're screwed, because they've done everything at this point. So people are going to be they don't have the excuse of, oh, we haven't tested it. They've tested it. So the gameplay needs to be good. And that's the thing that I'm currently worried about. But yeah, these things don't get out into the general public, I almost guarantee. And yeah, if you're someone who just watches maybe you're in the Call of Duty community. Actually, no, that's not even good because it's first person shooter community. If you're someone that watches my videos and doesn't know anything about Battlefield, like, you're probably not watching my videos. So it's a bad place to go to. But like, if I went to one of my friends who like maybe just played Warzone or played Call of Duty back in the day and been like, have you heard about the new Battlefield, seen any of the gameplay? Almost all of them are going to be like, what are you talking about? That's what I think, at least. So I don't know. Let me know what you think.